Picture the scene. It's 5 a.m. this morning. Kay has just arisen, and it will bring you closer to Yorkshire and to England and to Prince William. God save the Queen.
We were in bed last night and honestly, we were talking about a segment that we're going to have in the podcast today. Were we not?
Were we?
Yes, we were.
Okay.
And for some
what
reason...
What a romantic life we have.
I'm not the only one that says words like I say them.
What, wrong?
No. Mary Berry says it, it must be right.
Great.
Right. I need to get the oven. Are you mad? I was like, I'm not going to laugh at that because you're just stupid.
So then the next thing I thought was I need to come and check that you're okay, and thankfully Kay was in the ladies' room.
Honestly, that's a bit too much detail, isn't it? I was in the loo.
Hello!
Hello.
We're back!
We're back.
Yes! And it's raining. It's
My
the back
goodness.
end. It's the back end of Hurricane Gert.
Is it really?
Yes. I think I've got that name right. Yes.
Right, that explains it then.
Well, it really does explain it. Picture the scene. It's 5 a.m. this morning. Kay has just arisen.
I got up. I was up early.
And
Earlier than normal.
I'm sort of half asleep. You know, just that sort of moment in a morning where you're just beginning to wake up. And then there is the biggest lightning and thunder at exactly the same time that we've seen since lightning struck a field outside a place where we used to live, struck a cricket pitch, and we saw it happen.
We did.
Literally.
We saw the smoke going up.
That was shocking. It was as big as that.
Yeah.
And by the time the lightning had gone, I was out of bed and halfway into Bryony's room because I thought that absolutely scared me. So she's going to be terrified.
She did say it woke her up, but you said that she wasn't awake.
Stuck her head in, nothing. So then the next thing I thought was I need to come and check that you're okay. And thankfully, Kay was in the ladies' room.
Honestly, that's a bit too much detail, isn't it? I was in the loo, and our downstairs loo, you don't need to know this, our downstairs loo here, there's no windows. So I heard it, but I didn't see the lightning, thankfully.
The funny thing is, it's funny that you say, our downstairs loo. It's the same in our middle floor loo and our top floor loo.
So it is.
If you go to the loo in our house, there are no windows.
There's no windows.
They are they're internal.
They're internal bathrooms.
Which is cool, to be honest, because
it's never bothered us actually.
Well, you don't look unless you lived where we've just come from.
Yeah.
Where there's not going to be anyone passing your window. You'd have frosted glass anyway, wouldn't you?
You would have frosted glass, yeah. But I mean, I've never lived in a house before that didn't have windows in the bathroom, and we don't even think about it now, do we?
But
it
thankfully,
never bothers me at all.
Because she was in the loo, she was shielded from the terror.
But then it did it again, didn't it? Yeah. You came down to see if I was okay, and then we were in the living room, and then we saw another massive lightning strike. But luckily, we counted. And it was about 3-4 seconds away by then.
I tell you something. I've never before gone from the sort of
asleep.
I was completely awake. We're obviously just back from our sojourn to Scotland.
What's a sojourn?
What we just did.
I've never. Did we? I've never heard of that word before.
Off we travelled to northern Scotland, and do you know what? And I've been finding this just the last sort of 48 hours. That the memories and the looking at the pictures. Do you know what?
It's beautiful. I mean, where we were right on the coast. We were, if you think about where Aberdeen is, and then look along that coast that runs along. We were along that coast, and the coastline is stunning, isn't it?
Absolutely. The views. You just wouldn't believe that you could see views like that in this country.
Yeah, beautiful colours of the sea as well.
Really clear too.
And every day it was a different colour, wasn't it?
And when I think back to the days that we had where we found this one beach where there were some caves and all sorts, and we took a chair and used...
It was lovely, yeah.
But
and then
every beach was
we went
great.
to another beach and it rained a bit, didn't it? But we found this kind of little overhang of the cliff. and the sand ran underneath it. So we were under this overhang, and Bryony was playing in the sand, and it was raining, and we were absolutely fine and dandy. It didn't bother us at all.
The beauty of all this is, Kay, today you are being like a professional presenter because you're linking me perfectly from one thing to the next.
I don't know why, because I'm so heady today with this humidity. I feel dizzy and heady, and it's horrible, isn't it, humidity?
It's really grey out there. It's really weird, but really quite warm, you know. But that overhang, we're going to take you there. We're going to take you there next episode.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I know. How exciting is that? Because some of the filming that we did for episode 82 is actually under that overhang.
Right.
And it's under that overhang because when I was filming, it was raining.
We did see quite a lot of rain.
But you expect that.
Yeah, you do. And in between the rain, there was really good spells of nice weather. So
That day where we went down to the beach, and we're on the beach and we're playing around, and we were on a different beach with no overhang, close to where we were staying, within walking distance. And do you remember? It just started to rain. And by the time, I mean, it wasn't far at all.
It wasn't far at all. It was, where we were staying, you could see it there, and the beach was there. It was a 5-minute walk. You've just looked. It's a 5-minute walk, and there was no warning that
Suddenly,
just all of a sudden it was like whoosh. Well, we were soaked. You were just laughing your head off. By the time we got into the house, we were just absolutely drenched.
You get to the point, don't you? There's the initial point where you think, oh my goodness, I'm going to get wet here. And the stress and anxiety, you think, I've got to get inside. And then you get wet and you're annoyed. And then you get past that point and you just start laughing. Well, that's the point we got to. And all this happened in the space of about 3 minutes.
Honestly, was it? I mean, it's a 5-minute walk back to where we were staying, and we were just soaked. It was ridiculous.
It really was. And I think we should just pause for a moment.
Should we?
To discuss Yahtzee.
Yahtzee, why?
Why do you think why?
Oh, gosh.
How many Yahtzees did I get, Kay? In 2 games?
In 2 games, you got about...
Don't tell them. Just have a guess. How many Yahtzees do you think I got in 2 games?
Me and Bryony just weren't talking to him at all.
Do you want to tell them?
Was it 6?
It was 6. And I'm worried that you're not going to believe me. So
we brought the score sheets home so we could carry on the game.
I brought my score sheet. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It was ridiculous. And Bryony had not got a single Yahtzee the whole time. Well, she was just like, it's not fair. It's not fair.
My score in game number 4 is the highest score I've ever scored in Yahtzee.
426.
Do you know what? I was ashamed to say it.
And I think me and Bryony got like 100 and something.
Well, the amazing thing is, in game number 4, poor Kay got 2 Yahtzees.
Oh, I did.
And in any normal game, you would have won.
We didn't think it was very funny. You're laughing about it.
I didn't think it was funny. I was devastated.
I kept saying to him, you better not get another Yahtzee. This is just ridiculous now.
Oh, there's
Off
another
he
one.
went. 2 throws and that was it.
I have a technique.
Well, you do not. It's a game of luck.
It is, but you make your own luck.
Oh, rubbish.
You do.
Rubbish in
don't
Yahtzee.
Now,
absolute tosh.
While we were away, we also celebrated our anniversary, didn't we?
Oh, we did, yeah.
Which was lovely. We went out for dinner.
We did.
And it was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And of course, that was the story which we relayed in great detail on the live show that we did for patrons on Sunday. But Kay had a lovely Scottish delicacy called skirlie, which in a nutshell is savoury porridge made with beef fat.
I didn't know what it was. Right, I'd ordered this meal and I just wanted something simple. So I'd ordered like chicken and vegetables. I thought that'll be cool. And it came with some stuffing. Well, you could have either black pudding or stuffing. Well, I wasn't going to go for black pudding.
Do you know, I felt like saying to her, have the black pudding and I'll eat it.
I wish I'd done that now. So I went for the option that said oatmeal stuffing. I thought, I like oats. I'll give that a go. And it just looked like it was sort of shaped on the plate, but it was a very loose sort of mixture. It didn't stick together at all. So I thought I'd try it. It was pinhead oatmeal, I'm pretty sure. I thought I'd try it. I was like, it's a bit peculiar, but the taste was quite nice. It was kind of like sage and onion porridge.
Yeah. And do you know what?
Sounds gross.
She let me try some, and my initial reaction was, that's lovely, I want to have more of that.
Yeah, and that was my initial reaction. And there was quite a lot on the plate, and I gave you a big spoonful of it.
Yeah.
I probably had about a quarter of what was on the plate because I left a load, and I still felt sick. And I said to you after, I think that was really rich.
Well, it was.
I don't know what was in it, but it was really rich. Well, we found out afterwards that it's basically like beef suet, oatmeal, onion, and herbs. Well,
Now,
it's no wonder I felt gippy, is it really?
But I think it's important that we stress it tasted really nice.
It did taste lovely, and actually Dan said, "Oh, I might, have some of this at Christmas if you can find the recipe." And we were like, "Oh yeah, that'll be quite nice." But now we're thinking, no.
See, both of us.
A little teaspoon on your plate.
Yes, perfect.
Fine.
No,
but there was there was a lot of it.
It is important to say that we have very weak constitutions.
I don't have a good stomach at all.
And I don't anymore
for rich
for obvious
things
reasons.
at all. I can't stomach rich food at all. But so that probably didn't help the situation. But even so, it was rich.
There was a huge part of me, and there is a huge
tasted
part
really
of me.
nice.
It did. And you know what? I'm glad that we tried it. Because when you go to places, I think it's always important, isn't it, to try. And that is, according to the people that we spoke to, it's a local delicacy to that area of Scotland.
Yeah, and I actually said to the waitress, the stuffing was lovely. And she said, oh yeah, a lot of people come here for the stuffing because they really like it.
Yeah.
It was lovely. We went to a hotel because there's not really a lot of restaurants and things up there. So we went to a hotel, and it was a really nice hotel. It was in Banff.
Yeah.
Not in...
Susie Gawley. Banff. And just
not
up the
in
road,
Canada.
Just up the road, like 2 or 3 miles up the road, there's a Bankhead. There's a
as
village
well.
called Bankhead.
I couldn't believe it, yeah.
How exciting.
But Banff is lovely, and it's got a fantastic beach. Beach. We didn't go to that beach, did we? Because it was a little distance from where we were staying, but it looked beautiful.
But we were overloaded with beaches where we were.
Yeah,
it's not we went to this one beach in this fishing town.
Fraserburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge beach. Beautiful.
I ran down it one morning.
Beautiful.
It was. You could have been in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because the lovely sand, the really nice bay, crystal clear water.
The water was so clear. Bryony was going in and getting a bucket full of water to make sandcastles. And when you looked at the water in the bucket, I said to Dan, can you believe how clear that water is?
Amazing.
It was absolutely sparkling clear.
Amazing. And the most wonderful thing about all this is next episode, you're going to get to share some of those sites with us too.
Yeah.
So don't miss it. Now, a few people I put a picture up of us on our anniversary. Do you remember?
Right.
And there had such lovely comments underneath. And there was loads of people saying, things like, oh, you're an inspiration to, people for marriages and all that. And it set me thinking, everyone, I suppose, in everyone's marriage has their little sort of secrets as to what makes it work.
What's he going to say?
Well, no, what I was going to say was, and I know I've said this a couple of times in the last 24 hours, but I think one of the things that makes stuff work for us is the fact that we make each other laugh.
Wow.
And Kay said something to me yesterday which really made me laugh, because she said, you're the only person I know who has the power to make me laugh and to make me annoyed in the same moment.
Very true.
A delivery arrived yesterday. It was coming around, and we were just sorting out the
bits and bobs
blanket.
pattern. We were putting in the photos for. Sorry, Dan, I stabbed you with my DPN. Dangerous things, DPNs. And we were putting in the photos, and I saw a parcel force van coming around, and I knew I was expecting a parcel. And we've got 3 stories in our house, so I thought I better make my way down the stairs. So I went down the stairs, and as I was leaving, what did you say?
Something like
he just put a stupid voice on and said something, and I
can't remember what it was. It's just, but what I loved about that moment was, in that moment, Kay's initial reaction was to laugh quite a lot.
But then I stopped myself because he made me mad. I was like, I'm not going to laugh at that because you're just stupid.
She's like,
I said, why are you always like this?
What do you do? It's so funny. And it made me laugh so much that I went out for a run this morning, and this is 24 hours after it happened, and I'm partway through my run, and I'm thinking about this moment, and I'm laughing so much I nearly had to stop running. And that, for me, I think that
I said to him, I'm not funny, and then you said, I said, I'm not funny at
what?
all.
On our own, I think we're much better.
I think I'm a fairly serious person, really.
But as a whole, when you put the two sides together,
Yeah.
I think that I think is why things work so well. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, it clearly does, because how many years?
How many? I don't know. We've been married 12 years, haven't we? Been together 14 and a bit, something like that.
Cool.
Not bad going, is it?
Well, no, and it just feels like yesterday. It really does.
Kind of does, yeah.
Which is insane, doesn't it?
Kind of does.
And I can remember being stood out on the green bit outside.
We had a lovely wedding, actually. It was very low key. Neither one of us wanted anything grand, so we got married in the registry office in Harrogate, which is in a beautiful place, and there's just a grassed sort of green, as Dan said, outside, and we didn't have a professional photographer. All we said to people were, can you just take a load of photos for us and we'll get them off you afterwards and we'll put some together.
Our best man was exceptional.
That's right.
He took
the best man chauffeured us, and we just used our own car, didn't we?
But we polished it up to the nines.
Yeah, and I wore a wedding dress, but nothing very grand, and it was just lovely. And we just went for a meal afterwards in a restaurant, and
it was very
just
us.
Really nice.
It was very us.
Yeah,
low key.
Low key. You don't. Everybody, each to
we
their
are
own,
shy
but,
people. We don't like a lot of attention.
I don't like attention on me, and your wedding day it's all about the bride, isn't it? I'm sorry to say.
Well, we made it.
It's all, it's always, and I don't like attention at all. So, but it was lovely. We had a lovely wedding day. Yeah.
So thank you all so much for the anniversary messages. It's time for us to find out.
Oh.
Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
Here we are. Here's my first thing on my needles, and I'm not knitting at the moment because when I put my head down at the moment, I feel dizzy.
Do you know what?
I'm so sinusy. And I was talking to Sasha yesterday, and she said the same thing. She's in America, so it must be a general humidity thing across the world at the moment.
Well, I don't know where Hurricane Gert started out.
Oh, right.
Who knows?
Could be that, couldn't
I bet someone knows. I bet someone else across the world who's watching.
Yeah, so the first thing is I decided the day before we went away, I got all my projects sorted, what I was going to take, and then at the very last minute, I decided I wanted to cast on a mitred square cushion. Do you know I've been talking about making cushions for our new sofa because the cushions.
Oh, now that's posh.
The cushions. My brain's not functioning. The cushions we've got, the fabric is very hard on the cushions. So I thought, yes, it's a good time to start one. So I took it away with me and I've knit a few. And this is where I'm up to. I'm in the middle of a square, which is inconvenient. But I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is that? Yeah, and I'm on the 7th. And I'm sticking to very soft colours because our sofa is kind of this colour and the cushions that are on it have lots of these sort of colours in, blues and teals and a bit of green. So I wanted to keep it to soft colours and then throw in quite a lot of green and blue. I'm knitting the squares slightly bigger than I have done previously. These are 49 stitches. I've done 45 before, but I'm using a 2.5mm needle. The first mitred square cushion, should have been a blanket, turned it into a cushion, that I ever made, I knit on 2.5mm, and then I went up to 2.75 for the next one. But I prefer the fabric that you get with 2.5mm because especially on a cushion it's going to stretch because you want it to stretch a bit around the cushion pad. So I've gone down to 2.5 and I like the size of the squares actually. They're really nice. So I'm just working away on that, and I think for about 3 days when we were away all I knit was this. And it's funny, I took about 7 projects away with me and only worked on 2 I think, which is always the way, isn't it? So far I've used some really pretty yarns. This one I knit some socks out of. It's Cascade Heritage Prints, and it was the Surf, or it was some kind of sea name. I can't remember the exact colourway now, but it's really pretty. Beach Cliff, remembered. And then we've got Regia, that's a Regia mini. That one is one of the ones from down Sheepy Lane. It's a fantastic Mr. Fox colourway, which I've not seen the film, so I don't know the reference, but it's really pretty. This one's Fondant Fibre, the green, lovely. And then that one, the sort of taupey one, was a yarn that I dyed for the patrons last Christmas. And I called it Dashing Through the Snow, because I thought it looked like slushy snow with reindeer prints going through it. And then I'm just doing this lovely pinky purple, which I think is Fondant Fibre, but I'm not certain. Might be hedgerow, not sure. So yeah, I've just been working away on that and really enjoying it. I did start off, and I started it with the intention of doing the decreases, so it made a cross in the middle. I think I spoke about this before. Do you know, like the one that So Sweet Violet is doing, and Danny from Little Bobbins always knits them like that. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do that. But I did 2 squares, and I didn't like how you had to do it. You have to, basically what you do is you have to rotate your square. That was my first one. You have to rotate it sort of 90 degrees and then pick up. But it meant that I was picking up along the cast on edge. And when I sort of looked at the construction, I thought, oh, I'm going to be doing that quite a lot, picking up on cast on edges. And I didn't really like that very much. I prefer to pick up from the garter edge. So I ripped that square out, and I'm just doing it the way I always do it, and I'm much happier. I think we all find our own method for doing these
Absolutely.
blankets, and this is obviously mine,
Yeah.
or cushion in this case. And that one's lovely. That was a Fondant Fibre one. Deb, I think that was one of yours. And when you look at it when it was in the skein, I don't know if I've got the leftovers in here, there was just 2 bits of colour here and here. Lots of different colours within it. And I thought, oh, that looks interesting. I'll try that one. And it just knit up really nice. I've taken it out. But it was lovely, and I really liked the kind of just little dashes of colour that it produced. Really nice. So yeah, so that will be at some point a cushion for the sofa.
Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I think that I will feel that our sofa's lovely.
It is lovely.
And it's really comfortable, and it's a long time since we've had that, because our old one was very old and very sort of
worn
out. But what it doesn't feel like at the moment is ours, and I think that's because it doesn't have on the cushions like we had on the old one.
I could bring down the old cushions.
Would it work? Because that's the cushions from the old sofa.
Yeah, and they're very multicoloured, and you know,
Whereas
the old sofa had lots of colours in it. It was very 90s, and it kind of matched, whereas this is more muted and will suit it. So I've just got to get on and do it, really, because the cushions are quite big. I think it will need a bit of work, and then I've obviously got to make 2 of them.
At the end of the day, you know, we're knitters, and to sit on a sofa with, you know, whilst you were like, oh, you know, well,
I wanted it all to match, and
it's to all match. Actually, as you know, as Kay said, the cushions aren't very comfortable.
They're not very comfortable.
They're so firm because the material.
The fabric is, and I think it's been like Scotch guarded and everything, and it's just very stiff and not very pleasant to.
No.
You know, to see the.
But having the cushions there with lovely covers on.
Yeah, will be nice.
Will make it. You know, it'll make it ours.
I just need to get on with it, really, and.
One of the other castles that we went to that we're going to take you to next episode as well, in our next new adventure, it was so windy the day we went. Oh my goodness. But this castle is amazing because it was used in The Crown. It's the place where the Queen Mother goes in the course of, I think it's about episode 8 in The Crown. She's off trying to find her way after her husband had died, and
it was
her daughter
so spooky.
had become...
I cannot even tell you how spooky this place was.
In The Crown, you know, you sort of see it from a distance, and it's not supposed to be a ruin. It's, you know, they make it look like it's a place that she's about to buy. But even more cool was it was the inspiration for Dracula, for Dracula's castle. But the reason why I went is it was so windy. When we were walking up there, it blew off your necklace and it landed in the foliage.
Oh, you're so funny. Do you know, we were in bed last night and...
Oh!
Honestly, we were talking about a segment that we're going to have in the podcast today, were we not?
Were we?
Yes, we were.
Okay.
And for some
reason...
reason...
What a romantic life we have.
And for some reason, I said foliage. I can't remember why I said it. And he's like, what? Do you mean foliage? And I said, oh, just let me say it how I say it. So we were talking about this for a bit. And then I said, well, it's the same as necklace, isn't it?
What, you mean necklace?
Everybody says necklace, don't they? I think. The majority of people say necklace. Well, you don't spell it necklace, do you?
No, but you need to
You
stop
spell
your
it
arguing. Because you're arguing.
necklace.
Your argument.
I know, because then I don't say foliage, and that's how you spell it. So he was having a go at me and laughing at me for the way I say things.
The
And I was
interesting
just
thing is-
like, do you know what? I'll say it how I want to say it.
The interesting thing is, I think that Kay's right.
And I'm right with necklace,
I think
aren't
she's-
I?
she's
It's
bang on
a
with
lace
necklace.
that goes around your neck. That
Yeah.
must have been originally how it came about.
And I
I'm
would guess,
thinking.
I've not researched this, but I would guess over the course of time that we have, we've compacted it and shortened it as we tend to do when we say certain words, and it's turned into necklace. But foliage, you are doing what people have done with necklace to
But
foliage.
you see, I say, and Mary Berry says this as well, I say layer instead of layer. And Mary Berry says layer when she's talking about a layer cake. So, I'm not the only one that says words like I say them.
What, wrong?
No. Mary Berry says it, it must be right.
Layer cake is layer cake.
Layer.
Layer cake is like a cake where dragons live.
I sound funny saying layer. It
What?
just...
Enunciate. Try this. The rain
No.
in Spain.
Shall we talk about nuclear?
Nuclear. Look.
For years, Dan couldn't say nuclear. He said nuclear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't have a go at me.
But
But now you have to go nuclear to get it right. So you can just stop having a go at me for saying things the way you say them.
Looky. You haven't asked me.
Because you're naughty.
We only do it once. Come
Dan
on.
Jones,
Yes.
what's on your needles?
Whoopee. I've actually cast on 2 socks. Do you think that this is now my go-to cast on? It is, because if you think my
Yes.
old cast ons,
I'll say so.
you said that they were too tight, didn't you?
Yeah, that one is... You use the German twister, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've actually cast on this, and I've cast on another sock as well. How exciting! So and do you know what I thought? I thought after I'd gone and learnt how to do the cast on again, I thought rather than forget by the time it'll take me to finish, well, no, it wouldn't have been. I would have been casting this on relatively quickly. But knowing me, if I'd left it a day, I would have had to have looked at the video again.
Yeah.
I think it's because you go under, don't you? You go under them both, and then
Yeah.
down through the middle, and then
Yeah.
around over the top, and then pull it through.
I think unless you're doing it very regularly,
Yeah.
something like that, you will forget.
I'll show you because I haven't got anything else for What's Off Your Needles, so I'll save that till What's Off Your Needles. The finished,
first
yeah.
sock.
So I'll show you that. I know that's cheating slightly, but there it is. Just continuing on this one for Bryony, and I'll tell you about the fit and if she likes it in What's Off Your Needles. What else is on your needles?
Oh, this is so
gonna
cute,
carry it.
and I've not been able to work on this at all because it's still school holidays and it might be seen, if you know what I mean. But luckily she's upstairs at the moment and she's busy and she can't hear us, so I can show you. So I've been working on my Sven Scandinavian.
Although her hearing has been getting better because we were having a conversation down here the other day about Harry Potter.
Oh, she heard
And she
it.
heard it all.
Well, whenever you say Harry Potter, she'd hear
like-
it if she was 3 miles away, I think. She goes, oh, what are they talking about? And then she'll come downstairs and she'll say, I heard you talking, and this is what I think about that. All right, okay. So I'm knitting Sven Scandinavian, although I have chosen a different name. Do you know how I said I couldn't call him Sven because Bryony has had a friend at school called Sven, and there's obviously Sven from Frozen. So what I did was I went online and I googled traditional Sami names. Now, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I've got a DVD that I think was on the telly 2 Christmases ago now. It wasn't last Christmas, I think it was the Christmas before. And it's by a company called something like Slow TV.
Right.
And basically it's a video of a reindeer trip, not a ride, a reindeer journey through very northern Norway, I believe it is, where the Sami people, S-A-M-I, live. And it's like along a postal route that they used to take traditionally, you know, years ago, and still do. And it's filmed in real time, so it's like you're sat on the sleigh and you're just there with them on the journey. And sometimes they get off, so it's like you get off, and sometimes they obviously use a drone because they go up above and you're looking down on it. But it's in real time, and I think it lasts for about 2 hours. And a lot of people would say that's incredibly boring, but I loved it, and it's just so relaxing to watch. And then you got me the DVD, didn't you?
I did.
You know, their traditional dress is very specific. It's lots of reds and blues and Fair Isle and shawls and things like that. So I googled traditional Sami names and got this whole list up. And I chose two names. I haven't even started the Solvig, the woman that goes with it. But mine is going to be called Otto, and the girl one is going to be called Oggy. How cute, Otto and Oggy, if I get to knit the girl one. So this is where I'm up to with him. I've put his little hat on his head because, oh, he's so cute. Look how cute he is. Oh, there he is. There's Otto. He hasn't got his beard yet. He will have a grey. I've got a grey colour and a whitey cream colour. I thought I'd mix the two to give him like a sort of a Santa type beard. Look at his cute little face. Oh, look at his little nose. He's so sweet. And look at the hat. And I did think I was going to use an opal yarn for the hat, but actually when I started knitting it, the colours didn't really go with the colours that I'd chosen. But I found in my stash, I've had this forever, it's an Osterman Step, and it's one of they did a range of colours that were based on Ireland, and I can't remember the name of the village for this one, but the colour number is 0248. 0248, and it's these beautiful kind of purples and greens and blues, and it matched. Can you see the blue jumper I've just started? It matched the jumper really well, and that's what it looks like in the ball. It's lovely yarn, this Osterman Step. I have used it for socks a couple of times, and it's really, really lovely to work with. So that's, I mean, his hat does come off, look. His head's very long, but his hat's very long, so it just works. And I'm just on the decreases at the top. It's going to be very long, this hat, because I've still got quite a little way to go. So I might shorten the decreases a little bit, because it is meant to kind of flop over like that, and then you can put a little tassel on it. And I did the rib in the Jameson and Smith, because I'm using Jameson and Smith jumper weight for it all. This is one of the colours. Jameson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight in just a huge range of colours. I chose a kind of palette for the boy one, of blues and greens, and this is like a sort of a deep purple with lots of flecks of colouring, but it just seemed to go really well. So as soon as Bryony's back to school, which is a couple of weeks still, I can really crack on with this and allocate some time during the day, because it's not something that I can really work on at night, because I'm usually a bit tired by then, and I've got to the Fair Isle portion of the jumper, and that really takes a bit of concentration. So yes, I will be getting back to Otto, as I've called him, as soon as I can. So because I couldn't really work on that, I decided that Otto and Oggy needed a blanket, because really you need a blanket, don't you, if you come from northern Norway. So at first I thought I'm just going to knit a mini mitered square blanket with all these colours that I've got of the Jameson and Smith. And I started it, and then I had a bit of a moment, and I thought, oh, I wonder what that would look like if I did that, and I've tried something different. So what I'm doing, can you see, I started off with all these lovely little mitered squares in these pretty colours, and I was just going to carry on. And then I thought, well, what if I pick up, leave the top square and the bottom square, as you can see I've left those unpicked up, and then what if I picked up along all of these and then knit a square in the middle here, and then worked the rest of the little mitered squares all the way around. And I think it'll work. So
Okay.
once I've knit a bit more of this, I'm going to pick up and knit this square and this square. And then I'll do that and work my way along until it's wide enough, because this is the length of it. So I think it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares down. So I think I'll probably do 6 or 7 across. And that'll be a nice little rectangular blanket.
That yarn's lovely.
It's really lovely.
The colours are lovely.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you held up the colour palette and said, oh, which ones do you like? It was online.
Yes.
There was just too many.
Oh, there's too many. I mean, if you've ever looked at Jamieson and Smith, I think there's 180 or something colours. I can't think how many. But they're
just too much.
Beautiful colours. And this one I'm using for the body. Can you see all the heathered shades in it? Oh,
What is so frustrating about that, Kay,
it's just gorgeous.
is if I'd been looking on there, I would have given up.
Yeah, because
But
online,
look what I would have given up.
I
mean, look at
know.
that blue and that pink.
I know.
And
Online, the colours don't come up at all, and they didn't. I was going to order a shade card, but they didn't have any in stock. So I just thought, oh, I'll just wing it and order a bunch of colours. And I was lucky that, you know, quite a lot of them were these heathery, you know, with lots of different colours going on in them. And I've just got a whole bunch of colours. Like, I love this green as well. That pretty, it's got a lot of yellow in it. The colours are just beautiful. And actually, you know, I always thought Shetland, because it's 100% Shetland, and I always thought it would be the scratchiest thing in the entire world. And actually, I've felt a lot scratchier. There's a definite little prickle, but it's not bad at all. And I think, you know, when I've washed, I'm going to wash this blanket. I'm going to give it a really good soak, because I'm just interested to know what it feels like when it's had a good soak, you know. There's a definite prickle, but I'm holding that against my neck, which is the most sensitive area, isn't it? I mean, on my hand...
Otto and Oggy aren't going to mind.
Otto and Oggy are not going to mind. And on my hand, it's absolutely fine. So I'm loving working with this yarn. And this now is my bedtime knitting, because it's just knitting, knitting, knitting. And that's just lovely.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I think that's a good... I was pleased with myself when I thought of that. I was like, ooh, I'm going to do that. So, lovely, lovely project.
Look at that purple.
The purple's lovely.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
The colours are just, I mean, look, it's just, look, I mean, they're just beautiful. If
You
you've
could
never,
knit anything out of that and it
I
would
know.
look great.
Oh, they're just,
It's
the
not like one of
colours
those
are
yarns,
just
is it, where
amazing.
the colour will suit itself to certain things and not others.
Yeah, no.
And you think sometimes, don't you, when you've got a plain colour, it's not going to be interesting enough.
No, and
well,
that blue,
endlessly
I mean, the
interesting.
blue is lovely.
Very
They're just beautiful. The colours are gorgeous.
Speaking of beautiful colours,
Oh.
I mean, look at that. Look at the top. Look at that blue that's coming
Similar
in.
colours, actually.
It really
to-
is. It really
to
is.
this.
And it does make me think of that. I mean, it makes me think of Scotland.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely. It
You've got the
does.
green of the hills, which
Yeah.
run directly into the unbelievable blue of the sea, and then as you get out deeper into the sea, it does tend to get a little bit
Yeah,
darker.
and the heather as well. It also looks like
There was
the
so
heather.
much heather, yes, absolutely. There was so much heather, and that's just stunning to see, I think. And the
Yeah.
other thing that I saw a lot of, which I haven't seen a lot of since I was a boy growing up, hares.
Hairs.
Loads, not hares.
No, I know what
hares.
you meant.
Oh, sorry.
I just never saw any.
I saw loads.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, probably when you were out running.
That's
you
exactly
never saw
right.
them.
It was wonderful to see.
I don't know that I've ever seen a hare.
Have you not?
actually. I don't think so.
Well, I was very lucky because I grew up surrounded by lots of big fields.
Rabbits,
so obviously they
but-
were, you know, they were in and around the big fields. You'd always see
Right.
hares herring across the fields.
Herring across.
But I haven't seen them since then. And you know, being out and seeing those were just brilliant. There was one morning.
My Patronus is a hare, if you're interested.
There was one morning where I went out for a run and I'm running past this field and there's two massive bulls. And I'm running past and they're really close to the fence. And, you know, I just thought, oh, you know, I'll silently just run past and everything will be fine. Well, I got close and one of these bulls was not a happy boy at all.
You had a red top on.
You blew the punchline.
Is that a myth?
Of course it's not a myth.
Are they not colourblind? Because aren't a lot of animals colourblind?
Maybe they are. Maybe it is a total myth.
I know dogs.
But let me tell you, this bull was not happy.
Dogs don't see in colour, do they?
No, it's black and white.
I mean, that's the bizarre thing, isn't it, when you think about that?
What's even more bizarre is how we know.
How do we know? I suppose. Yeah.
just by dissecting.
But
and
maybe bulbs
analysing.
can see in colour. I don't
Well,
know.
it was not happy, and I'm thinking, what's the problem? I'm right up against the other side, and then I noticed I'd got this red top on. Don't go running past a bull in a field in a red top. But it is, of course, my Messalina cowl, which I am test knitting, and absolutely loving every minute of it. The cable now is stuck in.
Oh, good.
And it's great, actually. The Irish coffee, I still have to look in 3 places. So you look on the chart refers you to one thing, which then refers you to another thing to get the cable. Whereas this, it just makes sense. C4W, I think. Is that what you... Where is it? Round 1. I get mixed up because there's the setup round. Yes, C4F, C4B.
I'm going to say, what's C4W? I'm just thinking.
I don't know, I'm sorry. C4F and C4B.
Cable 4 front, cable 4 back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just obvious.
right.
And,
Was it not obvious to you before, or is that what you mean?
well, I wasn't used to reading it like that.
No.
And, reading it, now I can see that and I know what I'm doing. Whereas the Irish coffee, it's still, and I've knit loads of that,
Right.
I still have to refer to the chart because there's a symbol, and then the symbol gives you the terminology, and the
Right.
terminology doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Even now, after knitting it loads, so you then look down to what the terminology means.
Right.
But amazing yarn, just wonderful, so soft, isn't it?
It is. And we
It's
didn't know what it
ludicrously
was,
soft.
did we? It's beautiful.
Look at that.
Well, the purple.
And the gold.
Yeah, there's like a maroony sort of colour in there.
Get me to the gold and the purple,
It's
please.
so soft. We couldn't remember which
Talk
one
about
it
inspiration.
was, could we? And we didn't know which of these 2 it was. I think it must be Gail's art.
Right.
But that doesn't tell us what the base is. But it's very soft, whatever it is.
It's beautiful.
Really beautiful. Yeah,
This is up
it's
there
gorgeous.
with the nicest yarn I think
Look
I've
at
ever
the
knit.
colours.
It's just mind blowing. And
Colours are gorgeous.
do you ever have problems with your project bags? And what I mean by that is, Kay made me another project bag and I wanted to use it. So I had to go through my project bags to sort of filter projects
Right.
into other bags. And I had to retire one bag to start using the new project bag.
Right.
And I was thinking then that I'm driven by my project bags with regards to the projects that I cast on.
Oh, right. So because you want to keep
I want
using
certain,
those bags.
like this bag needs to have something really amazing in it because it's made from my old shorts
Your old
and
shorts.
it's just a lovely bag and I
Yeah.
just love it. So I'm really keen to always have a really great project in there. But similarly, that bag, which again,
I made you that ages ago.
I just love that bag. So this bag has to have something really cool in it, and that now, of course, has in
Yeah.
the checked and squared socks. And Kay made me this new bag, which is actually it's going to be the next thing.
That's
that I
another
show
pair
you.
of shorts.
Just another pair of shorts. And she made it, and I was like looking at my bags, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get this into usage? Because she's just made it, so I have to start using it because I really want to start using it. So what do I do? And that's then what made me think that I'm totally driven by when that bag gets empty, I can't leave it empty.
Right.
I have to fill it.
Yeah, there are certain bags that I like using.
Yeah. I didn't know if anyone else was like that.
Yes. I'm guessing yes is the answer to that.
What else is on your needles?
Oh my goodness. Well, the Wainthrop continues. This is the cardigan that I'm knitting by Andy Satterland. It's the Wainthrop. I've shown you before. Really pretty cropped cardigan with some lace panels running across it. And I have finished a sleeve.
Oh my goodness. You haven't.
I have.
No.
I have.
Get on.
Well, I shall show you. Only the one, just the one, Mrs. Wembley.
Oh, great program. Love that.
But look, it is a sleeve, is it not?
It is.
And it is finished.
It's lovely.
But there's only one.
It's lovely.
I did get a 12-inch circular to finish this off. I spoke about this last time. Started it off on a 16-inch because that worked. You know, it's the hat size needle. That worked for picking up the stitches and you know, starting it off doing the short rows and all that, but then once you start doing the decreases, I got to a point where the stitches were just too stretched around. So I thought, right, okay, I'll try one of the 12 inches. So I ordered one. It's very heavy, this needle. It's an Addy. It's the only one that I could find. But I mean, they're very short. I mean, when it came, I was like, oh, you're joking me. I'm never going to be able to use that. But I did. And when I was knitting just the plaid, I probably used it from about here-ish. And when I was just doing the plain knitting, it was doable. You know, I wouldn't say it was very pleasant, but it was perfectly doable, and I was getting through it quicker than I would have with DPNs or Magic Loop. But then I got to the bit where you have to do the little lace panel and then the ribbing. Oh, and I didn't enjoy it on that tiny needle. You know, working things like SSKs and knit two togethers and all this business on the tiny needles, I did not enjoy that one bit. But it was only 11 rows. I thought I'll just get through it. I did, and then I went on to the ribbon, and that wasn't as bad doing the ribbon as the lace, but again, it still wasn't very pleasant. But I just thought, just get on with it, Kay. Just get on with it, stop moaning. You know, it's just that little bit of knitting, isn't it? So I did, and I finished it this morning and bound it off. And it's fine. I actually, the gauge on the sleeve is a bit tighter than the body, but thinking about it, you've got to expect that, because this is knitting the round and this is knit flat. And as we all know, when you knit flat stocking stitch, you've got to purl. When you knit stocking stitch in the round, you don't purl, and therefore that makes your gauge, generally, I think most people would say their gauge is tighter knitting stocking stitch in the round, because when you purl, I think you purl looser than when you knit, certainly I do. So it is a bit tighter, but I'm sure with a soak and a block, I'll be able to block it to the dimensions of the pattern. I did put it on this morning, stuck my arm in it. I can't now because I've got a jumper on, but I stuck my arm in it and I can get it on, but it's very close fitting on my arm. And I know, I mean, this is intended to be for Dan's mum, and she's much skinnier than me, so I'm hoping it won't be an issue for her. But like I said, I'm going to block it and give it a bit of a, you know, a bit of a coax to just be a little bit bigger, and I think it'll be fine. The sleeve length is good. On me, it comes to, you know, sort of here, so if I'm going to have a long sleeve, I want it to be a long sleeve, you know. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be a proper nice length sleeve, and it is. So that's really good. So I've now just got to do the other one. I'm not enjoying the thought of having to knit the other sleeve. And I guess it will be less painful if I just go and pick it up straight away, won't it?
Second sleeve syndrome.
Well, it's even worse than a sock, isn't it, really? Because it just seems much of a... I suppose, really, in terms of number of stitches, there probably isn't that much difference between a sleeve and a sock. Just feels different mentally, doesn't it? But now I've got one sleeve done, I do want to get the other one done, because I think it's really lovely.
It is.
And it'll make such a nice gift.
Absolutely.
And I started a new ball when I started knitting the sleeve, and I had that much left. And I've got one more full skein, so I'll have that much left again of that one when I've done the other sleeve, and I think two of those together will be plenty for knitting the ribbon, the button band.
I love that.
I know, it's really pretty, isn't it? I think that's a really pretty detail, and it looks lovely. Especially, I think, when it's blocked as well, and, you know, the ribbon's all even and everything. I think it'll be lovely. But these needles are ridiculous.
Oh, look at those.
I have tried, do you know the 9-inch circulars for knitting socks? I have given them a go, and it's not for me, I'm afraid. I just thought, I was just laughing. I said, this is the most ridiculous thing. It can't be good for your hands. I know a lot of people love them, don't they? But, oh, no, not for me.
I couldn't do that.
No. And I'm struggling.
And you've got small hands.
And I've got much smaller hands than you, yeah. But there's absolutely no way I could knit socks on those. It just is ridiculous to me, that notion.
Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
For another of my wonderful socks?
Yeah.
Look! this is the bag. It will be recognised by anyone who has been watching our drawstring bag tutorial series, which has just finished this week.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yesterday was that?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, Tuesday. That's Miranda, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Oh
What was that?
no.
Is that your DPN
No,
or mine?
it's my DPN.
Oh,
DPN.
no. DPN down.
It's really tricky picking DPNs up, I find, off the floor, because my fingers just can't get around it.
Oh,
But there is my lovely
Knitting
bag that Kay made.
dilemmas.
And it's filled with this amazing yarn. I love this yarn. It's like sunshine.
Aww.
Yes. And there's some really cool little pops of colour as I work through it, which I'm really enjoying. Gives me a real thrill that when I get to one and it appears. I mean, look at that. It changes.
I wish I'd put more speckles in
No,
there,
I'm happy
actually.
with it. I'm perfectly happy with it. Thank you,
You
very
can
much.
see some speckles, but I kind of wish I'd put more in.
I wanted a plainer yarn for this because
Well, that's
this,
true, you did say that.
this
yeah.
is the Bootstrap sock.
Yeah.
This has the Balbriggan heel on it. And those of you who've been following my progress on the Dan and Lara project, which
Tea's
came
cold.
out yesterday, this is really the reason why I started this whole challenge. Because I picked up the book, I read about the Balbriggan heel, I thought I really want to do that. Looked at the Bootstrap sock, which I think just looks cool. It has a specific pattern running down the side of it, which I wanted the focus of the sock to be on the pattern and also on the heel, so I didn't want a variegated yarn. And it's the reason why I wanted a colour like this, which is just perfect. But it was then through looking at that and then looking at the other patterns in sock architecture that I thought, do you know what? What I need is a full-on challenge, and let's do them all. And months afterwards now, I finally get to cast on the sock, which I've wanted to do from the start. So I'm underway. I've still got a little bit to go. I literally only cast this on yesterday.
You did.
So, but that's not bad progress for me in a day. Especially when I cast on the other sock yesterday too. And I made a good amount of progress on that one. Come on. Picking up the pace, people. And I really laid down the gauntlet yesterday on the Dan Lara project, because I said I'm going for 12. I want to do the 10 and I want to design one pair for you and design one pair for Bryony.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, from the skills that, you pick up from the direction that she gives you in the book. So who knows whether I'll succeed, but
I might test knit it for you if you pay me.
I really no, it's not a design that you
Oh,
write down.
you're just going to do it right. Okay.
I just you that's what she gears you up to do, which is why it's such a great book, because you read the book, you learn all these things about socks, all these different heels, all these different stitch patterns and everything, and then you can take your favourites from all of that, put it all together, and away you go. And as we established, I think the heel that's on the finished checked and squared is perfect for Bryony, but we'll see more of that later. More socks
Last thing,
from Kay.
last project.
Whoopee.
I cast these on, I think on the journey or the night before we set off. Yeah, for Scotland, and I think I didn't knit hardly at all in the car.
Because the roads... Oh, can I just ask, is it a myth or are there no roundabouts in America?
Really? What do they do?
Well, do you
There's
have
no
roundabouts in
roundabouts.
America?
Do you not have roundabouts?
Because there was a joke made years and years
What
ago.
happens then? When you get lots of roads?
Well, I know when you look, if you look on...
Maybe they don't have it.
When
lots
you
of
look
roads.
on...
Do they just have T-junctions and...
If you look in towns, if you look on Google Maps in towns, it's just blocks, isn't it?
Oh, right.
Blocks. Go up 5 blocks.
Wow, that would be interesting to know.
And how often do you get bendy roads?
Right, yeah, I mean, again,
Because
there's
you
lots
couldn't
of very
knit
straight roads. I
because
can knit when we're on a motorway, and that's fine, but if the roads are tall, bendy, twisty, I can't
And they
knit.
were bendy.
Well, they were as soon as we got kind of north of Glasgow.
Yeah.
They were just very twisty and bendy, so I didn't really knit very much at all, and I didn't enjoy the travelling, so I just didn't feel like it as well. But I did work on this one while we were away, and it's the oh, doesn't it look sweet?
It does.
It's the as you can tell, it's a Harry Potter sock, and it's in Gryffindor colours. I wanted it to look like the school jumper, so I got the grey for the school jumper, and then I'm going to use the grey for the toe as well. And I'm just striping this myself. So I'm using 3 colours of Cascade Heritage. The red, I think he's just called Red. That's very imaginative, isn't it? That's number 5607, and that's the red. It's not as bright as that. It's more of a maroony sort of red. The gold is mustard, I believe, and that is 5652 is the gold mustard, and again, it's not as bright as that. It's more of a gold. And then the grey, I think this was called charcoal, but I'm not entirely certain. And that's 5631. So I'm striping them myself, and I'm doing 12 rows of each, but actually it's 13 because I'm silly and I counted 12 below my needle, but then of course there's a row on your needle. So we'll say 12. And then just done a normal slip stitch heel. I did knit past the heel when we were away, and I used an Eye of Partridge heel, but you couldn't see the pattern at all. I don't know what it was about this particular yarn. It just looked like plain stocking stitch, and I just thought, oh, I don't really like that. So I pulled it out, and I've just done a slip stitch heel, which I think looks much nicer. So I'm back to the gold now, and I'm just doing the gusset decreases. So I'll work down to the toe and then do a grey toe. And that's, you can see that's where I've got all the joins in the yarn that I need to sew up when I've finished. It doesn't bother me, the jog, you know, you get a jog because you work in a spiral, don't you, when you're knitting the round, you're working in a spiral. You're not exactly in a round. So that causes the jog. But you know, Bryony's not going to be bothered about that. She'll just think, oh, it's a pair of Gryffindor socks, even though she's a Hufflepuff, and she's now said she wants Hufflepuff socks. I said, I'm making you Gryffindor socks, won't that do?
Can you make me some Ravenclaw socks?
Well, I'm Ravenclaw as well.
So we both are.
I know, I'm not doing 2 pairs of Ravenclaw socks.
Oh.
That would be a bit much, wouldn't it?
Maybe I should knit
Here's
you.
a question. All you Harry Potter fans out there, right? I've seen Hufflepuff colourways by various dyers that have been grey and yellow, but the grey has been a sort of pale to mid-grey, whereas Bryony insists that it's yellow and black. And I looked it up on Pottermore and things like that, and it does say yellow and black. Yet people seem to knit Hufflepuff as yellow and grey.
Why is that?
Well, there is grey on the shield.
Right.
It's a badger, isn't it? It's a badger.
That's it then.
So there's grey on a badger and there's black on a badger. So I said to Bryony, would you not prefer grey because I don't really want to knit black? And she's like, no, it's black.
She's always loved black.
She has always. Her nails at the minute are yellow and black. Oh dear. We had a Harry Potter marathon yesterday, didn't we? Literally all day. It's still going on upstairs, yeah. Yeah, so there we go, and I'm really enjoying that. I think it's really sweet.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's a momentous moment, and I shall show you why it's a momentous moment.
You're about to click
No,
again.
I've clicked.
Oh, right.
I clicked 5 clicks
Did you
ago.
see I had to do that then?
Yeah.
Getting old.
You know when you're getting old when?
You have to do that.
5 clicks ago,
told my optician.
I
Getting
clicked
old.
over. Come on. It feels like a really seminal moment because I'm approaching the halfway mark.
Right.
Which is just brilliant. And I was just looking at it, and it's the type of thing that Piano Dude, he's a clever man.
Piano Dude.
The mathematician, this design, it just draws me in.
Yeah.
I'm like...
you think it must end somewhere, but it doesn't, does
It's
it?
just mesmerising. And what I love about it is, I love the shapes it makes. Because I can see so many things in them. And I don't know about you, can you see things in the shapes? Or not? Is it just a pretty pattern?
It's just a pretty pattern, but I can understand what you mean.
Because...
What, like faces and things?
No, well, I see there, that to me, that K there looks like a TIE fighter.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
You're right.
But then also as well, I mean, it's all butch things, which is quite cool, isn't it? Because this is a beautiful pink and green scarf, but I'm pulling butchness out of it. And I also see the spaceship from Galaxians.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Galaxian.
it was like it's the game that came after Space Invaders.
Oh, I've not heard of that one.
It was, instead of you being stuck at the bottom of the screen,
Yeah.
you could actually fly around the
right,
screen. It's a great
right.
game, Galaxians. I used to always get I wonder how much money we used to put in the arcades. What did it cost for a game?
I never played the games in the arcades. I just did the pushy penny thing.
Right. I knit on this loads while we were away, and it was really relaxing to do it. It was just lovely sitting in the chair with the sea, and it was so nice. And that's what pushed me through and got me into the third repeat. And it won't be long now. I mean, I reckon on the pace that I'm going, I'll be halfway through, because it's 5 repeats. But I'm worried.
It's not very long, that. Your gauge is tight, isn't it?
I'm going to need to go longer.
Yes.
I have enough yarn.
They do say that a scarf should be as long as you are tall.
I have ample yarn, because look how much I've got left.
You've got 2 more balls upstairs.
Yeah. So I've got loads left.
I think you should just knit through the yarn that you've got and see where you are, because I don't think I could dye that up and match it.
I'll be over 5 repeats.
They were kind of one of a kinds, those. I did write down the recipe, but you wouldn't get an exact match.
But if you look at what's left there,
yeah, you've probably done half of your balls, haven't you? So you could do 4 times that, which should be all right.
So I'm getting, because I'm just into the 3rd repeat.
Right.
So I'm going to get 4 repeats.
Right.
Out of 2 balls.
So you need to do 8 then.
Wow. So I'm just going to keep knitting. How exciting is that? I bet no one has knit a 8 repeat piano number 1.
No, you should ask Nathan how long his scarf is.
I'll look on. Well, yes.
Will it say, or it might not say how? Oh, it should say how long it is. It should.
Well,
in the pattern it should say.
It's 5 repeats.
Right, 5's not going to be enough.
No, I realise that, but you're actually meaning something different to what I am, aren't you? The actual length.
Yes.
Yes.
In centimetres or inches.
Yes.
In my case, because I don't understand centimetres. I don't really understand centimetres. If somebody said to me, "Oh, I'm so many meters, so many centimetres tall," I have no idea whether that's a giant or a very small person.
I will ask him.
Okay.
Yes.
When he's back from his jaunt.
Yes. That is the end of What's on Your Needles.
Yes.
Shall we crack on?
Yes.
And shall we do Desert Island Discs?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Now that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Now, as you know, we've been going through the decades of our lives, picking the songs that we were listening to within those decades. And the 2000s is where we've got to. Mm-hmm. And it's a key decade for us, because that is the decade that we met.
Yeah.
And for me, that was also the decade, I think, where I started to make fully informed musical decisions.
Right.
I think that's the moment.
I never make fully informed. I just think, oh, that sounds nice.
That was the moment where, after playing lots of bands and doing lots of shows and being involved in lots of music and teaching and all those things, I could start to nail down on the stuff that I really enjoy. So I think the stuff that I started, because if you think about it, the stuff I started listening to then, I'm still listening to now.
Yeah.
And the things which I've spoken about historically, the 90s and the 80s, I like them, but it's not something that I have on a lot. So, it's ladies first.
Okay.
So I think we should start.
Look, I couldn't spell that. That is not how you spell it.
It isn't.
My first song is something that I listen to a lot when, this is going back to probably, I think the album came out in late 90s.
2002.
No, this one.
Oh,
that
sorry.
That was 2002.
I'm sorry, you're starting with...
I'm starting with this one because I listened to this one before I listened to this one. But late 90s, I think the album came out. And I listened to this I listened to the whole album, but in particular this song, at a point when, I can't remember, I think it was 2002 or 2001, I forget. But I joined Slimming World back in 2001, 2002. And I remember the first time I had a weigh-in, so the first week I'd start a Slimming World and then you get weighed, and then the following week you get weighed. And I'd lost 5 pounds in a week. And I just remember thinking, I just had this instant, I'm going to do this feeling. And I came out of work because it was a Slimming World club that we ran at work. One of the people I worked with was a consultant, a Slimming World consultant, and she just asked one day if anybody wanted to form a little group. And she must have just caught me in the right mood, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm so tired of being the size I am. So I said, I'm going to do it. So I did it, and I just threw myself into it, absolutely threw myself into it. And I lost a lot of weight. And the first week I lost 5 pounds, and they do say a lot of it is water that first week, but I didn't care. I'd lost 5 pounds in a week. You know, that's nearly half a stone.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of work that day, and I was just that feeling of, I am totally going to do this, and I'm going to be a thinner person at the end of it. And I was so elated. And I got in the car because I worked in Sheffield at the time, and I caught the tram to a park and ride.
I know that one.
Yeah, at Meadowhall.
Yeah.
I parked at Meadowhall, and there was a park and ride, still is, and I used to get the tram into work every day. So I was on the tram and I was thinking about it. I got into my car, I put a DVD on, CD. This was the first song that came on. Don't laugh at me, I'm old. And I was singing along to it. The drive home from Meadowhall was only about 15 minutes, 15 minutes probably in the traffic. And I remember I listened to this song about 4 times on the way home, and it stuck in my head, and I've loved it ever since. And whenever I hear this song, it just reminds me of that moment of thinking, I'm not going to be big anymore. No, I won't talk about that at the moment, but I'm not going to be big anymore. And I was just so, anybody who's lost a lot of weight knows that kind of feeling that I'm talking about. So anyway, the song is by Jamiroquai. Did I say it right?
Yes.
And it's Corner of the Earth. I can't remember the name of the album it's from. Oh, it's Funk Odyssey.
Is it?
I think it's Funk Odyssey.
Right.
I think.
Okay.
But it's Corner of the Earth. And I love the song for a few reasons. I love the lyrics, and I really love the music. To me sounds, Bryony said it sounded Indian.
You said Egyptian.
And I think it sounds sort of Egyptian. I don't know, it's just got that kind of, not Oriental,
Arabian.
but Arabian. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of Arabian feel to it. And I just absolutely love that song. And it just always reminds me, whenever I hear it, I'm back there in my car, which I've still got, driving along and just thinking about, what I'd achieved and what I was going to achieve.
Yeah.
And so brilliant, love it. And I love the song. It's fabulous. If you've never listened to it, I mean, I love Jamiroquai anyway, but go and listen to it. I'd love it.
What's clever about Jamiroquai is that the band is immense.
Yeah.
And the 2 drummers, and they're just superb. And I remember listening to Emergency on Planet Earth on my Walkman.
Yeah.
That was his first hit, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
Right.
And I remember listening to it on my Walkman, walking our dog Prince, when I was about 14. And he's just brought out a new album now.
Right.
Now that is...
He's an amazing singer, isn't he?
That is an amazing career, because he's only a little bit older than me.
Right.
He's about 48, I think, 49.
Right.
So whoever signed him clearly knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because he's just never really gone away.
No.
And there's so many Canned Heat. I remember seeing
brilliant,
Canned Heat on Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah.
And it still blows my mind now. It's just so brilliant. He's such a good performer.
Yeah.
He'd be great to see live.
Absolutely, yeah.
So your first song?
Jamiroquai, Corner of the Earth.
Yes.
Go and listen to it, everybody.
So what is my first song?
I have no idea.
Well, I remember being at work, and I remember going into HMV, and I remember buying 2 albums, and both of these albums have become, both of the bands that were on these albums have become absolutely seminal to my whole life. And one of these bands, right when I was just, I can't remember if I was still on chemo or I was just coming off, but I think they'd done,
Glastonbury?
Yes, they'd just done Glastonbury, and it was on BBC iPlayer, and I remember watching it, and I remember it giving me, it gave me a similar feeling to what you had there, which is, I'm going to do this. And I think it was the first time. I remember watching it. And do you remember you had gone to Marks and Spencer's and you'd got me some Mexican food. Do you remember?
Did I?
Yeah, it was like a wrap.
Oh,
Was it a
right.
burrito?
A burrito, I do remember that.
Yeah, you got me one once, and I'd not had anything like this.
No.
And
I think you said you wanted something, you fancied something spicy.
yeah, so you went and got me. So
Yeah.
I can't be in a good way because I wasn't with you
No.
either times.
No.
And this was the second one that you got me, and I remember sitting there.
Yeah, and you really enjoyed it, didn't you?
I really enjoyed it. I remember sitting there watching it and watching this band play, and the band was Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh gosh.
And the song, which I love, and I remember putting on the disc, and I was driving home from work, and I had quite a long drive, and I listened to When I'm First, and then I put Earth, Wind and Fire on. And I'm embarrassed to say, up until that moment, probably in about 2002, maybe, no, later, maybe 2003.
Right.
So up until 2003, I was aware that Earth, Wind and Fire existed, and I'd heard Boogie Wonderland, but I'd never heard anything more than that. I mean, how embarrassing is that? So got this album, it's the
Same
greatest
as me,
hits.
probably.
Greatest hits, put it on, and there's so many amazing songs on that album. Got to Get You Into My Life is amazing, and September's amazing, and is it Fantasy is amazing, but the song which always stands out for me as their best one is In the Stone, and you won't even know what it is. That's so cool.
Not a clue.
I love that song. So Earth, Wind and Fire, In the Stone.
Play it for me.
I will. That for me is the song. I love all of them equally, to be fair, on that Greatest Hits album, but the one which I just love the most is that one, and that will always to me be 2000s and, you know, feeling really good. And then also it has the additional meaning of getting over the chemo and thinking, yes, I can do this. And I love music when it does that, because it did that with you then, and it did that with me. Music used in the right way. I found this with playlists when I'm running. Used in the right way, it can just keep you going. It can keep you driving on.
Absolutely.
What else is one of your Desert Island discs?
Just what you were going to say then. What else is on your CD player? CD player. I miss my CD player. Dan won't let me have one. We've got rid of all the CDs now.
And how good is that?
Well, I guess so. But I kind of
How much space did we make?
I know. Anyway, I'm old.
You've now filled that space with yarn.
Yes.
Yes.
I know, because I couldn't get rid of the unit that I kept all my CDs in.
But what a brilliant
So
use
I now
of space.
put yarn in it.
Yes, I think it's a brilliant use of space.
Right, my second song. I couldn't remember the name of the singer, could I?
No, she's not renowned as a singer.
Is she not?
She's an actress.
Right. I thought she was a singer before she was an actress.
No, I think she's an actress first.
Right, I didn't know that. Anyway, and I was describing it to Dan, and he's like, "Oh, it's so and so," and I was like, "Oh, it totally is that," because I couldn't find the CD. This was the whole. I couldn't find the CD. I knew I had it on a CD. Anyway, he told me what it was, and you actually downloaded the album for me yesterday, didn't you? Because we didn't have it. You thought we did, and that's
Well, maybe
probably why
it
I
is in
couldn't
your car.
find it. I think it might be in my car. And I was listening to this. I think the album came out in 2002. And I was listening to it in 2003, so fairly new at the time. And I was listening to it at a time when I was moving into a new property, and Dan was going to move in.
We were moving in together.
We were moving in together. Yeah, that sounded weird. The way
I was
said
moving
that.
into a new property.
Yeah, that sounded weird. Yeah, we were moving into a property together, and
It was the first, we were moving in together, not a property. We were moving in together.
Okay. And I was kind of getting the house ready for when Dad, because you took a bit longer because you were moving from a further distance. So I had a few days to kind of organise the house. So I was putting up curtains, and I was putting on bedding, and I was just sorting out things, you know, like you do. And I had this album on while I was doing that. And it was in May, and I remember it was a really lovely spring few days. I'd got the windows open, you know, the spring air was coming in, and I got this album playing. And there was one song in particular. I loved the whole album actually, but there was one song in particular that I just kept playing over and over and over, and I love it. And funnily, I haven't really listened to the album since then, and I don't know why.
What an
because-
amazing journey this has been, though, because by doing this, you are now
I
rediscovering
know,
things.
and we listened to the whole album yesterday, didn't we?
And it's very good.
And, you know,
was shocked.
I thought Dan would say this is a load of old rubbish.
Well, I've
But
got to admit, I was
actually,
embarrassed searching for it and buying it online.
as I thought he would be, and I thought he's not going to want to listen to this. But actually, you said to me that musically, some of the songs in particular were really, really good.
What people like this lady do, and they still do this now, is people who aren't renowned as singers, they have to rely on the production and the quality of the musicians around them. So what you've got is an album where it's produced to perfection with amazing musicians.
And I love all the songs. And it's Jennifer Lopez is the singer.
Hardly.
They're like, what?
Go away.
She's listening to J-Lo, what? And I kind of laugh at it. And that's maybe why I didn't listen to it again, thinking, oh gosh, I can't listen to that. But it's a brilliant album, and it's the one that's called, I think it's This Is Me.
Yes.
Yeah, This Is Me. And the song that I'm referring to in particular is I'm Glad, it's called. It's about song 4 or 5, I think, on it. And I just love it. There's a drum, there's lots of drums in it, and I used to, this is so embarrassing, but I would pretend that it was Dan playing the drums, and that I was listening to Dan, and I'd sing along to it. How embarrassing is that? I'm so embarrassed. But
the funny thing is about this, though, it is, when I was listening to it yesterday, it's the first time I properly listened to it. Musically, it's bang on, and it's the type of thing that I would play to. And it's the type of thing that any drummer who knows what he's doing would sit down and really enjoy playing it, because it's the right tempo, it's the right genre, so it's a great choice.
yeah, and
I'm not embarrassed that you think that.
I love the whole album, actually. You know, if you're laughing at me now and thinking I would never listen to J-Lo,
Go try it.
Go and give it a try. I would say give it a try. It's lovely, and I think her voice is really nice. You don't think her voice is particularly good.
No.
But I'm just listening to it as a layperson.
The music is excellent.
I'm not musically minded.
Give it a try. You can YouTube, well, I've linked it below.
Jamiroquai and J-Lo.
Yes.
Who knew?
What is my next song?
I have no idea.
Well,
What is it?
growing up, I loved Strictly Come Dancing. It wasn't Strictly Come Dancing, it was Come Dancing.
Yeah.
My mum always used to think that I was telling fibs because I just wanted to stay up late. And if I'm being honest with you, initially it was.
Right.
So I would say to her that, because my mum, I knew that if I said I liked it, that she'd let me stay and watch it, because my mum was a dancer and really into choreography. So, Come Dancing, presented by Terry Wogan.
Terry Wogan.
And you know, professionals, not strictly, not the things that we see now, and you know, proper, really cool dancing programme. And all the music was big band stuff. And also when I was growing up, you know, poor Jerry Lewis, he's just died, hasn't he? And Jerry Lewis, he used to sing a lot of big band, and he was with Dean Martin, of course. But he did a film called The Nutty Professor, which I love. And he sang a song in that called Black Magic, and he had, I think it was Count Basie behind him, or it was a great band behind him. And it was big band and it was swing. And then I set off into life, and I wasn't listening to that stuff. It wasn't a conscious decision. But then, I'm embarrassed to say, late 90s, early 2000s, Robbie Williams brings out Swing When You're Winning. And like I just said with Jennifer Lopez, what he did was very clever. He went out to where Frank and all the guys used to record all the really amazing swing albums. He got together, Frank Sinatra's pianist, he got together all these amazing musicians, did the album.
It's a great album.
It's a great album. But that reminded me how much I loved swing when I was growing up. So I set off on this voyage of discovery, and the album which just blew my socks off was Frank Sinatra Live at the Sands.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a classic album within musicians. Musicians have to have this album. And I'd never heard it before. So I got it actually when, probably 2006,
Right.
I think. What year did we get married?
2005.
In that case, I got it in 2004.
Right.
So I got this album in 2004, and I've always now, I listen to swing all the time. And there was loads of great tracks on that album. And the one that stood out for me the one that always makes me happy, the one that always, just to me, says that period of time, but also reminds me of that period of time in the 60s when it was so big, and the 50s, is Chicago.
Right.
By Frank Sinatra.
Right.
But, so that's my pick, Chicago, Frank Sinatra.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that's the one. And the other one, of course, is In the Stone Earth and Fire, but I have not finished because I was fully in. Yes, I was fully into swing when Kay and I got married. Of course, we were talking about the start, wedding anniversary. So I said, I'll sort out the wedding music. So I'm fully into swing. And I thought, well, we could have some fun here, couldn't we? So I didn't tell anybody, and I sorted out which songs, and they were just queued up on a CD. I burnt the CD, and I said to the best man, you know, when Kay's walking down the aisle, play track 2. When she's, you know, when we're signing the register, play track 3. So I picked all these songs, and the song that she walked down the aisle to. Do you want to tell everybody what you walked down the aisle to?
Because it's just shameful that he did this.
Kay walked down the aisle to Frank Sinatra singing from that album, Live at the Sands, The Lady is a Tramp.
Not nice. Not lovely. And actually, I don't think most of the people there realised or cottoned on, you know, to it.
And then
you know.
when we were signing the register, it was Strangers in the Night, which is just great. And then I can't remember what we
He's not
walked out
changed,
to.
Does he?
I can't remember what
remember.
we walked out to. But I love swing music, and Chicago is the song for me, which I still listen to now. I just adore it. So those are our 4 songs of the 2000s.
Brilliant.
I think it's time for us to find out, Kay Jones, what's off your needles?
Goodness, what's off my needles?
Yes.
Just,
Can I have a sock look?
you can, that's why I...
Aw.
Oh. So I finished the socks that I'm knitting... Oh, I was knitting, I finished them. The socks that I've knit for lovely Sarah, Sherlock Knits, on Instagram. She is in the middle of an amazing sort of project where she wants to knit a pair of socks for every patient in the hospice that she works in. And I think that's just an amazing thing to do. And of course, lots of people have now joined in to help her because they saw what she was doing and just thought that's just amazing. And she's using this yarn, which is it was specially dyed by City Knits in Bourneville, which just makes me think of chocolate every time I say it.
Well, it would.
Yeah. cityknits.co.uk, they commissioned West Yorkshire spinners to dye up this colourway, so it's exclusive to City Knits, and it's dyed in the colours of the Marie Curie logo. Yeah, I knit a pair of socks because I just thought that was just such an amazing thing that she was doing, and you know, really close to our hearts, obviously. I just think it's amazing, and I think Sarah's on her 4th pair now. Are you, Sarah? I think it's your 4th pair. And, you know, Sarah Hepworth is knitting some as well, and loads of other people are helping her knit some socks. So I finished the pair, and they came out really lovely. I've washed them, so Sarah, they're all ready. So, all done. And I used a contrast, which I think was Blueberry Bonbon. I think it was Blueberry Bonbon.
Keep one to keep showing.
In the same yarn. I just did a heel flap and gusset, because that's what I love, as you all know, and just, yeah, knit away on them, 2.25mm. I knit the leg a little bit longer than I normally do, actually. It will probably fit size, UK size 6, probably through to 7, because I knit it a few rows longer than I normally do. So yeah, they're all done and ready for Sarah.
Wonderful.
Dan Jones.
Yes.
What's off your needles?
This is the greatest sock I have ever knit.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
There may be...
Just making it look a bit prettier on the block.
There may be little errors here and there, but why is it the greatest? It's the greatest because the pattern was wonderful to knit. It flowed all the way through. There was no bits which, you know, dragged and were taxing because, you know, there can be all sorts of different reasons, can't there, that make things a challenge. Well, there was none of that. Top to bottom, absolutely brilliant. The yarn is just perfect. The heel turn I love, and I did a square heel, which is what was in the pattern. It was very confusingly written actually in the pattern, and I went into detail in this on yesterday's Dan Lara project, but luckily I had Kay sat next to me and she just said, well, it's just this. And I've done square heels before, and as soon as we'd worked out 10, 8, 10...
Yeah, we got it slightly wrong, the maths, didn't we, I think, but it worked. It's quite a big heel, though, for a square heel.
The thing is, though, it fits her perfectly.
Yeah, it is quite a baggy heel, but it fits okay. So.
That then adds to the greatness of said sock, in that when she put it on, it was like a glove. It just fit just to perfection. So that heel clearly works for Bee. And also, she just loves the colour. She does love the colour, yeah. So immediately, she's like... I sat down, and that's why she was asking me what I was doing.
Yeah, she was saying, have you cast a sock on? It was hilarious. She's never, ever said that before. And Dan's like, yeah. And then he twigged that she's like, oh, is that my second sock? And it wasn't. It was the gold one.
So then, of course...
But you have now cast it on.
And I have, I absolutely have. And I went into detail in this in yesterday's Dan Lara project, but I'll just mention it here too, and that is... It's cool to have someone keen to get the finished object, because that then just enhances their knitworthiness and makes you want to finish it and give it to them. Yeah. So she inspired me to get that next sock cast on and, you know, to get cracking on it. And, you know, I'll get it finished quick for her because I wanted to be able to wear them, because she loves purple.
My second socks actually always go quicker than my first.
Well, you're lucky.
Well, I think it's just because I want the pair finished, so I just knit it quicker than I did the first one. That's usually how it goes with me, which is odd, isn't it?
Yeah, but love it. This is the checked and squared sock from the Sock Architecture book.
It's really nice. I do love a tonal yarn for socks, you know, because there's no risk of pooling or anything like that. Tonal and speckled yarns I love for socks.
I will knit this sock again.
And I might knit it as well, or I'd certainly put that stitch pattern into a sock. Yeah. So excellent sock.
What else?
Well, this is a finished object because it's as finished as it can be at the moment. That will make sense when I tell you in a minute. But it's some new yarn that's from Blacker. I think I mentioned this last time, didn't I? But they sent me, when I got the yarn for my Messalina that I'm going to re-knit, they sent me a sample of their new birthday yarn that they're putting out this year. It's towards the end of September that it comes out. There's a whole blog post on their website about it if you want to go and have a look at in more detail. But it's called Brushwork, and it's based the colours on like watercolour paintings, and it's all themed around watercolour paintings. And that's the label. So as you can see, it's been designed to look like there's paint splodgers on it. It's really pretty. And this is a sport weight, although it won't easily knit to I've knit it to a DK weight pattern with no problems at all. It's 80% wool and 20% alpaca woolen spun, and the wool element is a mixture of really beautiful yarn sheep. The Scottish Beaumont, Saxon Merino, Shetland and Castle Milk Moorit. And, you know, a lot of them are on the sort of at-risk watch list and things like that. So they've used very special yarn, as they've done before with their birthday yarns. And this time it comes in little balls rather than a skate, you know, rather than an actual hank. So they come in 50 gram balls, and I did actually think I'd got 50 grams when it came, but actually there was 25 grams. So that's why I didn't quite have enough to finish the thing that I've started. But what I'm going to do is when they launch it, I'm just going to go and buy a ball and then finish off this thing. But that's the colour they sent me. It's so pretty. You can see how heathered it is. It's beautiful.
Looks like a raspberry sorbet.
Oh, it's lovely. And that colourway is called Impasto. And all the colourway names are related to watercolour. So there's Craquelure, there's Scumble, Wash, Velatura, Smudge, Stipple, Impasto and Splosh. And they're beautiful. The colours are really, the palette is lovely. Really, really lovely. It's really gorgeous yarn. If you've had their birthday yarns before, they have been a bit more towards the rustic side, I would say. This one is lovely. There is a merest hint, and I'm sure that'll be the alpaca, and I'm sensitive to alpaca. So if you're not sensitive to alpaca, I think you'll think that this is very soft. And it is very soft. You know, when I was squidging it, I was like, gosh, this is lovely. And I've knit a mitt. I was going to do mittens, but you know, I didn't quite have enough yarn, but that's fine. I'll knit the pair, like I said, when the yarn comes out.
You actually said that you're going to get a different colour and they're going to be...
I might do, yeah. I might, because they kind of remind me of the mittens that Hermione wears.
That's a lovely mitt, that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Isn't it sweet?
Wowzers.
I mean,
Is that by the lady with the cool
beautiful.
name?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
This pattern, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and they're called the Semplice, Semplice mitts. It's a knit picks pattern, so it's free. And it's by Stacey Winklepleck.
That's the best surname I've ever heard.
What a fantastic surname.
I have to meet
So it's
Stacey.
these. So like I say, you can download it for free on Ravelry. And it's the patterns that, you know, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant pattern.
Well, it looks great.
It's just a simple mitt, but perfect. And I didn't get any holes at all here. I followed the instructions to the letter, and they actually tell you to pick up more stitches than any other pattern I've ever done for mittens. And that's obviously the key, that you've picked up a lot more stitches around here and there's no hole whatsoever. And it's just lovely. And the yarn is beautiful. It's quite tweedy looking. Can you see this kind of texture? And it was just, I said to Dan, it's really interesting to knit this yarn because it's not flat. It's not, do you know what I mean? It's very interesting and has got lots of tweedy bits, and it's just lovely. I love it. I really, really love this yarn.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's my one mitt, and I'm going to knit the other one end of September probably, and I might get a different colour like Dan said and have them mismatched like Dobby. So
It's Biscuit Banter.
Mummy, could you pass the biscuits?
And today we have the biscuit that has been called by one of the most foremost biscuit luminaries, Mr. T. Wogan,
Terry Wogan,
who is, you know, he was just the best DJ ever.
no longer with us, sadly.
Yeah, he was just a legend. But he called them the Lord of all biscuits.
The Lord of all biscuits.
And rightly so as well. This is a biscuit that was developed in Yorkshire in the 17th century.
Brilliant.
And it was designed specifically to be eaten by the upper classes between courses.
It's obviously why I like them.
Like a palate cleanser, maybe.
Maybe so.
To clean away, you know, the oil and you know, the strong tastes
There's
of...
barely any fat per
Yeah.
biscuit. I might have two.
Now, what is unbelievably exciting about this biscuit is it has been called by pretty much everybody the biscuit that is most perfect for dunking.
Absolutely is.
Because it's very plain. It's a very straightforward biscuit. But we're in good company with this biscuit, aren't we?
Yes.
My one true love. Because Prince William, the future King of England, for his wedding, had a cake which had 17,000 of these biscuits in
The
it.
groom's cake.
And he had, I just need to double check the
Loads of
figures
chocolate.
here.
I think it was like a tiffin.
He had 17 kilograms of chocolate.
It must have been a tiffin.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think he, yeah.
Oh, I love tiffin.
Oh, I love a bit of tiffin. What is this cake? What is this cake? What is this biscuit? Show them.
Of course. It's rich tea. We've got to have rich tea biscuits, haven't we?
As much as you were like, no.
I know, because it's such a plain little thing, isn't it?
But we can make it not plain.
There it is in all its glory. And all its rich tea glory. Oh,
Now,
I love rich tea
I've
biscuits.
got to say that these are the biscuits which I definitely ate the most as a child. We always had rich teas in.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, that's the perfect.
A biscuit should snap.
But that's the perfect snap.
Maybe this is the difference between a biscuit and a cookie. Cookies
Right.
don't snap, do they really?
No. But you know what I used to do? I don't know why. This is crazy, but when I was a kid, I was clearly like everybody else because I used to do this.
Why did you do that?
You can cut it in half. Look.
Oh, with the other side of the...
And look,
That's
look.
wasting the biscuit.
It's not. It's just a few crumbs. Look at that. Like you can make a straight cut. It's like a saw. Oh, it's broke. But look at that though. Do you not think that's exciting?
No, well, yeah, you've just broken your biscuit and you can't eat it now.
Of course I can. We need to dunk these little beauties.
Do you know, this is like heaven. You've got to have proper English tea. You know, you've got to, it won't work in all the teas, you know.
Now you may say that is a plain biscuit, but as soon as you dunked it, it just brings out all the sugars.
It's brilliant.
Get off.
Mm. It's my tea. You don't even like tea. Oh, it's the best thing in the world.
That is a winner.
I
That's
want
a winner,
to eat the
hands down.
entire packet.
These are also very popular, aren't they? In was it Cyprus and Malta?
Apparently.
It's a very popular biscuit there. Now, what's he doing?
Oh, it's
Well.
so nice. Everybody, go and make a cup of tea and get some rich tea biscuits.
The beauty of a rich tea is, yes, it may seem plain. Dip it, everything's lovely.
Oh, it's lovely.
But why
There's
not?
a spare bit there.
Why not? Go one step further.
I can't believe you're doing this. Cannot believe he's doing this.
I'm currently buttering the placemats. Get some butter, spread butter on said biscuit like this, and then of
that's
course,
thick.
no, it's not.
Is that how much you're leaving on?
Oh yes, and then of course you can add toppings. Now personally, I go sweet, but you could still
What else could you put on there? I suppose.
chocolate paste.
Oh,
You know, chocolate
no,
spread.
I don't do chocolate
But
spread. I
I'm
find
going-
chocolate spread offensive.
I'm going raspberry jam. Oh, now.
I feel like I need to try a little bit of this.
Now, I won't be dunking this one.
Well, no.
Now.
Can I try it?
Oh,
I'm
yes,
fascinated.
yes. The butter on that biscuit does something. Do you get it? The butter is... Something's going on there. Oh,
It's nice. Yeah, I mean, it's nice.
oh yummy.
I'm getting a kind of slight scone thing going on.
Yes! Maybe that's what makes it work so well. It's a definite scone thing going on, isn't it? But you know, you could try all sorts of different flavours. I'd go sweet with it. I don't think I'd go like
So you wouldn't put like
marmalade.
Oh,
No.
no.
Peanut
You
butter.
wouldn't-
No.
Peanut butter, no.
No, because peanut butter is savoury. That's a savoury thing,
Is it?
in my opinion. No one else will
I
agree
always
with
think
me.
of this as peanut butter as sweet.
No, you see, I don't. You see, if I was having toast, which I don't eat bread anymore,
But
so I
you
don't
did
have
used
toast.
to have 2 slices of toast, one with peanut butter, one with jam.
Yes, because the peanut butter is my savoury course and the jam is my sweet course. Oh,
It's the best biscuit in the world, I'm sorry, but it just is.
I don't like biscuits, right?
You know, you would walk past a rich tea biscuit in the supermarket and you would head for maybe a hobnob or, you know, a custard cream like we've done before. It's a mistake.
Kate,
Pick up that packet of rich tea biscuits.
I'm not joking you at all now, right? I don't eat biscuits. I'm not into biscuits at all.
No, you don't. Whereas
I've not enjoyed any
I
particularly.
love biscuits.
Not really enjoyed any of the biscuits that we've had so far. I love that. That is immense.
So that's what you've got to do. You've got to get your packet of rich tea biscuits and you've got to dunk some and then you've got to try buttering them and putting jam on as well.
Yes, and then take pictures and tell
Yeah.
us what you think. We need to score this absolute king of biscuits.
Oh, I love rich tea
The
biscuits.
lord of all
It
biscuits.
just makes me think of being young, you know. Mum always had, and she still does have, I don't know. Mum, if you're watching, do you still have a biscuit tin? I don't know. But yeah, it just makes me think of that. And you
Score.
know, it's your supper, a cup of tea and
What's on the scores?
Sorry, 10 out of 10.
And it's a 10 from me. From
No
Len,
way.
a 10.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's amazing.
There's not even an argument. It's 10. Eat them. Lots of them. Because you
It
just
will-
said there's nothing bad in there.
It will bring you joy in your day.
And it will bring you closer to Yorkshire
There is
and to
nothing
England and to
better
Prince
than-
William. God save the Queen.
As A strong cup of tea and a few rich tea biscuits, and I'm happy.
Oh, that's made my day.
No, and there's not, for people who are conscious of fat like
It's all
me,
grey.
Each biscuit is only how much saturated fat? 0.1 grams of saturated fat in a biscuit.
We have a dial on the side, and you
So
have to
that's
look
why
out
I've
for.
had two.
You look out for red, don't you?
Yeah.
And green obviously is when it's like vegetables and healthy stuff. But that's just nothing.
No.
So eating that, it's not going to do good or bad.
It's not
but it
gonna
will do
hurt
good
you.
to up here. Folks, it's the Endy Bits.
Endy Bits.
Now, it's a slightly special Endy Bits because in our Patron-only podcast, which we did on Sunday, we didn't have time to cover two important little things which we cover each Patron-only podcast.
Right.
And the first bit of that is our Gold Plus Patron giveaway.
Yeah.
So every month we draw, or every Patron-only podcast, we draw for a winner randomly, and they win something. And what do
Gone
they?
very dark again. I think it
Ooh.
might be.
I thought I saw a flash.
Did you?
Maybe.
It's just gone very dark again.
What do they win this time?
I've got a lovely bag for them this time. When we saw Deb at the Spring into Wool Festival in, was it April? I forget, March or April. She gave me a load of stuff. She just kept saying, have one of those, have one of those. Use it for the podcast. So I've saved this, and it's a lovely sheepy bag. How cute is that? It's huge. It's a sweater bag, this. I mean, you could fit your whole head in there. Even Dan's head would go in there.
What are you trying to say? Hold on, I'll try it on.
And it's just plain
Let me try
inside.
it.
People are not going to want it if you've had your head in it.
No, they'll want it more.
You will not. I wouldn't. So, no, you can't quite fit Dan's head in
You
there.
could, it was on.
But it's a huge bag which will easily fit a sweater, big shawl, and it's just this. The fabric is like a canvasy fabric. It's lovely.
Oh, it's an early one, Kay.
Oh, brilliant! What?
It's 29.
29.
29 is coming up now.
I do
who's
like an early
going?
number for some reason. I don't know why. Who is there? Oh my gosh! This makes me so happy. We love this person, don't we? And bearing in mind what's happened in his city this last week, this is just lovely.
Ferran Moreno!
Ferran,
You've won this bag!
Ferran, it's yours.
Yes.
And it's brilliant because that's a masculine bag as well, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
It's not girly. Ferran, that's just fantastic.
That's made my day, it just keeps getting better.
Oh, Ferran,
Rich
I'm
teas.
so pleased.
Ferran wins a great prize.
I know, and Ferran lives in Barcelona, if you didn't understand the reference there. So, you know, I hope that just brings a little smile to your face, Ferran. So, I'm sure I've got your address, but just in case you've moved, would you mind just sending me a message? You can Instagram me, or you can Ravelry message me, or whatever. Send down an email, whatever you want to do. And I'll get that sent out to you. I'm so thrilled that you won that. That's fantastic.
It really is, yes.
We love Ferran, don't we?
We do. Now, not only did we not have time to do the Gold Plus Patron prize draw, we also didn't have time to give our FOGG update.
FOGG update, FOGG along.
So of course we've been doing the FOGG along. Anyone can join in with the run with me, and patrons can join in with the knitting with Kay.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting because the gap is getting smaller.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I don't know whether the knitters have slowed up a little bit. I think the knitters need to get knitting because it's been dropping all the time.
I don't think they have. There was masses of
Right.
projects when I had, but maybe they weren't
Well,
quite as
in
many as-
July, the runners covered 2,159.86 miles. That is a good effort. Let me tell you. That's higher actually than it's been for a couple of months. We had an initial, you always get that, don't you? You start off and everyone's like...
It's like the start of a project, isn't it? You're all guns
like-
blazers, and then you're like me with the second sleeve.
And the runners have covered now a total of 16,263 miles.
Wow, that's
which, considering we
amazing.
are small in number, it's a great effort. Although we had a new lady come in called Liz, and she's a running machine.
Wow.
And she's just been away on holiday, and I kept seeing these runs, and I thought, hold on a minute, I thought you lived in England, because suddenly she's like running in like foreign climes and places. I'm like, what's going on? But she's taken her running shoes with her, just like I would have done.
Brilliant.
And she's covered like 100 miles in her first.
Well done, Liz.
Just brilliant.
Good for you.
But the knitters,
Yeah.
the knitters in July, covered 4,259 miles.
Wow.
And your total for the year is 4,480. No,
it's not.
it's 44,180.
I'm thinking, what? We do that in a month.
I was trying to put the runners in front, I'm sorry. Now, I haven't had time to plot exactly where we are in the world because it's been such a... We got back on Saturday and then...
Just a very busy few days, yeah.
So I will, I'll work that out over the next few days and I'll post that and we'll mention it on the next podcast. What else do you have to say in Endy Bits?
What else have I got to say in Endy Bits? We've still got the Jane Austen knit along going on.
Come on.
Quite a few people have finished their Longbourn shawls, which is fantastic to see. And there's lots of other different Jane Austen themed projects going on. So carry on knitting your Jane Austen projects. Runs till the end of September, so there's plenty of time to, even if you're not cast on yet, there's plenty of time to get something knitted. And then I'm going to start doing some more dyeing. I've had like a little hiatus, if you like, just because of summer and school holidays and going away and everything. But I am going to start dyeing again. I've got several really exciting things on the go actually. I'm doing a special little yarn series for the patrons, which they all know about now, but I'm going to be running for 3 months. I'm doing a little Harry Potter yarn series, which will be exclusive to the patrons. And I've got the colourways already sorted out. I've test dyed them, so I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be getting on with that. And then I also want to start dyeing up some kind of more autumnal colours. I've got some that I've done previously, but I dyed up one recently because I was thinking of Bryony and it's her birthday the day before Halloween. So I had that in my mind and I just thought, I wondered if I could dye up a yarn that makes me think of Halloween but also is reflective of the fact that it's Bryony's birthday. So this one, I'm going to dye up some of these and I think I'm going to call it Halloween Birthday. And this is the yarn. So it's on a lilac base because that's Bryony's favourite. And then I've thrown in speckles of like a rusty orange, bright pink, black, browns. I just think it's lovely. I'm so pleased with how it's come out. I think it's so pretty. So I'm going to be dyeing up some of these as well. And then I'm also working on just a small number of Christmas mini sets, Advent mini sets. There won't be very many of them and it'll be dyed, it's not dyed to order, it's just ready to ship. So I'll be putting those in the shop probably towards the end of October, fingers crossed. And there's a very limited number, but I had an idea in my head and I did want to do some. So I've got that going on as well. And
Anything else?
I don't think so. Oh, my Bits and Bobs blanket.
Yes, I was just about to prompt you.
My Bits and Bobs blanket, which you can see here, is now in test knitting.
Yay!
So that's brilliant.
The pattern is done, isn't it?
Pattern is done and it's now in test knitting and we did all the video tutorials. There's 5 video tutorials in there.
And there's a couple of lengthy ones as well.
Yeah, it just shows all the different, how to work the stitch pattern, how to weave in your ends, how to add in new yarns, how to start off the I-cord, all the sort of techniques that you need. It's all written in the pattern as well, but I wanted to put in some video tutorials just to make life maybe a little bit more simpler for people that have not done anything like this before. So that's in test knitting, and I mean I'll just see how it goes with that. It might be out for the next podcast, but we'll just see how the test knitters go. So
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the test knitters are only testing me a toy size blanket.
Okay, well, we're going to need to get cracking then. I'm going to need to get cracking on editing up the diary.
The diary.
You did a Bits and Bobs development diary.
Yeah,
Kay started shooting a diary from the very early stages of development of that.
Yeah.
Similar to what we did for the Longbourn. I took one as well when we were getting the shots, and we'll need to do another one, just one more, won't we, just to sort of finish off the process, because the last time you did anything was a little bit back in the design process.
Okay.
So So that's really exciting. That's news to me.
Yep. All right, sorry.
Cool. I think that the next Knitability is out on the 1st of September.
Right.
Which is super exciting. So we'll need another article.
Oh, stop it. I don't want to think about it.
And we'll also need a little book review.
I'm not... Oh, well, that's okay.
There you go. See? Yes.
That's okay. There's a couple that I could do, actually.
We have a wonderful article all set to go from the lovely Jodie. And we have we have an amazing shop and the best designer ever.
Oh.
She is a goddess.
Who is it?
Well, I'm not telling you.
Oh, I can't remember.
I'll tell you when the cameras have stopped rolling. So, we will see you in 2 weeks for episode 82. And this is an episode you do not want to miss.
No.
Yes, it is our famous trip. It's already famous. It's our famous trip to Loch Ness. And I'll let you into a little secret. You may be getting a little bit more than Loch Ness. So...
Yeah. We had an eventful time.
We had a really eventful time.
Yeah.
All good.
Well,
sort of. What was interesting was there's been some comments in the Patrons Facebook group of other people who visited who have hinted
that
they have had similar issues, and they also
right.
hinted at unhelpfulness of certain people,
Oh, right.
which we sort of caught as well, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because it gives us the opportunity to show off some of the other just breathtaking sights that we experienced in Scotland. But don't worry, we're most certainly going to search for the Loch Ness Monster.
Did we find it?
Yes, did we find it? You will find out. I particularly enjoyed our non-Scottish captain of our vessel. That's a bit much.
He was as English as they come.
Yeah, you don't go.
expected-
You don't charter a boat on Loch Ness and then have an English captain.
I was like, oh, what's going on?
We
And
want
actually,
Scottish people, please.
there was another woman in the shop from the boat place.
From Yorkshire.
There we go.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
And we will see you in 2 weeks for the most epic episode ever. So don't miss it, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Not quitting, pretending to the bakery bears. They'll take you to fabulous places of which their favorites they'll share. You better buy a pattern, get yourself a bakery bear. You'll find yourself in a castle while watching the bakery bears. It never feels like a hassle to sit and watch the bakery bears. What's on your shelf